hallucinations started.
Just got to the summit of Dix, and that was by far the hardest ascent I think I've ever had in my life. I pretty much was falling asleep on the trail, and it's cloudy up here. I'm cold, and I don't know right now what's going through my mind. I have no idea. I'm pretty scared because I don't even think I might have the strength to bail if I decide to right here. I need to figure out what to do.
Hallucinations, falling asleep mid-step while walking. The fun is really just beginning for Jonathan as he begins the final range of his day.
So halfway up the trail to the summit of Dix, pretty much right before we get to the Hunter's Pass turnoff, I start hallucinating. And what I mean by that is every rock, all these sticks, these branches and everything, I like think they're animals. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I got scared by this hanging branch thinking it was a person just watching me. I thought there was like this fox on the trail by the way that this route was like. It was just a fox just staring at me, and I would just like get closer to it. And it's like, it's not that it would scare me, like the hallucinations would just be like, it's kind of like that half doze off where like when you're driving and it's like you're forcing your eyes, you're just trying to keep them open, but you're just trying to fight falling asleep so hard. And so random weird thoughts, your brain starts doing really weird things. And I was experiencing so much of that, and it was awful. Like, I felt awful going up. And I just, every 5 minutes, I would just stop and just take a bunch of deep breaths and just try to recuperate, and just kept going up. And eventually we got the tree line, and I could tell we were in the clouds. The wind started to come up. It started to get a little chilly, and I was so tired, like sleepy tired. And I got to the summit of Dix. I took a deep breath, and I was like, dude, let's just real quick. Like, I need to talk to you. I want to get off the summit real quick. And so I took my picture. And if you look at the picture of me, I just look so tired. I'm just like crouched over the summit marker. And the summit of Dix, I got up top and only 35 minutes from when I met him. I got up at 2:09 in the morning, and I met him at approximately 1:30, and we spent 5 minutes together before starting the hike. So it still only took me 35 minutes to get up the Dix from that point. And so I was like, bro, let's just move for a second. And so I got off the summit, and there's a little bit of tree line in between the Beckhorn and the summit of Dix. And I found this spot where it was no wind, it was warm, and it was silent. And I stopped, and I talked to Colton, and I said, dude, I'm scared because I'm so tired. I physically feel like I even if I wanted to, despite willpower, I've actually gotten to the point where the body can't move. And I'm on the summit of this mountain in awful weather, and it's like I don't even have the energy to bail if I wanted to. I would have to just drop down on the ground and sleep here. And then that's when I realized, Jonathan, take a power nap. I looked at my watch, and I think I want to say I was 22 hours in on the dot. Exactly. 22 hours in, and I'm like, okay, 2 hours. Do I think I could get down, up Huff, down, out and back Grace, and get up to Macomb in 2 hours? And in my mind, based off of if I can keep speed, I'm like, yeah, I definitely think I can spare 3 minutes to take a power nap. I was like, Colton, put a timer on for 3 minutes. Don't say a word. And where I was standing was a perfect spot on the ground. I laid right on the ground, turned off my headlamp, and shut my eyes. And I fell asleep. I did. I fell asleep, and he woke me up. He's like, hey, bro, it's been 3 minutes. I'm like, whoa. Okay. So I stood up, took a deep breath, and power naps, man, I don't know what they do, but it tricked my brain, and I felt awake. I was like, let's go.
Power naps to the rescue. Who needs an entire night's sleep when you can just trick your body with a 3-minute power nap? All right, Jonathan is refreshed and ready to finish this hike out. 2 hours remaining. It's go time.
And I just started cranking. I was like, I'm just taking advantage of this. I started moving down the trail, not even thinking about where we were. You don't even know. Like, the thing is, I've been on the Dix Range so many times. The cool thing about this is you're not putting in a lot of mental power to figure out where you're going. You just know where to go. You just do. And just started going down. And right when I hit the base of Huff to start going up, a little bit of that fatigue started to hit me back. And it's like whenever I hit those uphills, having to use the muscle exertion, that's when like the tiredness punches me in my face. And I was able to get up just fine it was not nearly as bad as Dick's. Nothing else that day was as bad. I think the worst moment of the whole thing was going up the Dick's. It was just so awful. And I got to the summit of Huff at 2:57 a.m., which is about 48 or 49 minutes after the summit of Dick's. And at some point between South Dick's and Huff, I did take another 3-minute power nap. And I don't know exactly where that was. We also took just a quick eat break for like 2 minutes. So I want to say there was about 5 minutes of stopping time between South Dick's and Huff. And once we got to South Dick's, it was 3:32, which was only about 30 minutes later. And I looked at the time and I was like, shoot, I have 40 minutes. 40 minutes to out and back Grace and get up Macomb. And I was like, I even thought of like the Strava times of how quick that takes. And I'm like, that's not possible. Shoot.
It was at this point, 23 high peaks into his 25 high peak day, where Jonathan realized time was not on his side. But it was also a moment of clarity and realization about what this ultimately was all about and what the original vision and goal of the day truly was.
So I realized, okay, well, I missed the cutoff for the 25 peaks in 24 hours. However, that wasn't the original goal. The original goal was 24 peaks in 24 hours, that's the sweetness. That's the grit of the challenge. And I realized, I have 40 minutes. I think at the time it was like I have 35 minutes left once I was ready to move off of South Dick's. I was like, I have 35 minutes to get the Grace. And I'm like, it's like 1.2 miles. And I remember taking just a little bit longer than normal. And I'm like, it's going to be tight. So I was like, bro, let's do this. We started, pretty much speed walking pretty fast, kind of jogging lately down. And as we crested the col in between the two mountains, I looked at my watch, and on the final push, I realized I had exactly 5 minutes left. And I was like, oh no.
With 5 minutes remaining, he was too far in to let this goal slip away, so it was time to kick it into overdrive. And that's exactly what they did. Next stop, Grace Peak.
And somehow, I don't know what happened, but the craziest adrenaline rush I think I've ever experienced out hiking before. Colton could not keep up. He's a very strong hiker, but something in me just when you run in darkness and it feels like you can run forever sometimes. I don't know, experienced that when I'm a kid. I was just running up Grace. I don't know what the time was or anything. I was just going so fast, and I got up to the summit absolutely exhausted out of my mind, panting, and looked at my watch, and I had 3 minutes to spare. And I was like, dude, I did it.
Well, I did it. 24 high peaks in 23 hours and 57 minutes. Colton and I are just laying here on Grace, staring up at the stars, no wind. I'm feeling super relaxed because I know I'm not going to make the 25 high peaks in under 24 hours, so I don't feel time pressure anymore, and I'm just going to take this moment in because being on Grace here at 4:10 in the morning, that is a unique place to be in. On to Macomb.
As Jonathan stood on top of Grace Peak in the middle of that starry September night, the 24 high peaks and 24-hour challenge, the original goal and something only 2 other hikers have ever documented completing, was accomplished.
24 peaks in 24 hours. And the time does stop on the last summit. It's not at the trailhead. That's just generally the rule of thumb for this challenge. At that moment when I realized I got the 24 and 24, which I was extremely content with, I realized I do not feel time pressure anymore. I can get to the 25th peak whenever I want. And I looked up and the stars were immaculate. And I said, dude, let's just take a minute here to celebrate. So we took 10 minutes and just laid on the rock and just looked up at the stars and just realized, dude, we just did, we're about to go finish Macomb, and we did the whole Dick's Range while everyone was sleeping. From 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. That's just when we did the Dick's Range. It's like, what? That's just weird. And here we are on Grace looking at the stars, and it's 4:10 in the morning. And I was like, this is such a unique experience. This is just weird, you know? And so once our time was done, I was like, all right, let's just get back to South Dix, because I know we have a little bit more uphill to go. I think it took like maybe 25 minutes to get back to South Dix, and then just simply just made our way down and up to Macomb. Nothing special in between there. I think once I got to the 24th peak, my brain kind of calmed down a little bit in a good way, where I just the tiredness didn't start hitting me the same way as it did before. And as I was going up Macomb, or actually rather when I was going down the rock of South Dix to the col of Macomb, you could look over and you could see the silver lining in the sky of the sun starting to rise for the second time. And I was like, wow, dude, look at that. And we just started going up Macomb in like 20 minutes and got to the summit. I got to the summit at 5:30 a.m. And just took it in. And it was awesome. Just watched the sunrise. Pretty much, not the whole sunrise, but it was like pretty much like 20 minutes before the sun rose. It was beautiful atmosphere. And we turned off our headlamps. And I'm like, wow, I just turned my headlamp off for the second time. Such a surreal thing, realizing that I saw two sunrises on the same hike. I walked out to the view that looks out towards Elk Lake, and I look out, and I can see the whole Great Range. I can't see the McIntyre Range. I can't see any of that. And I'm looking at Marcy, and I'm looking at Gothics, and I'm just like, I just walked from that. I'm not even like, I don't understand. It's not even like computing with me. It doesn't make any sense, because it's just all a blur. And I'm like, I can't even see the McIntyre Range, and it's way back there somewhere. I don't even know where it is. And that's when we just started going down.
Oh yeah. Woo! Oh my gosh. Oh. Summit of Macomb, high peak 25 for the day. Wow. It is 5:24 a.m. and there's a gorgeous silver lining in the sky as I watch the second sunrise. Oh my word. Wow, I can look out and see the Great Range. Holy moly. Did I really just walk from that? That's insane. All right, we're going to take a minute up here. Probably just take a power nap now that it's over. My dad's waiting for me. Hey, Dad. I hope you're not freaking out because we're a little late. But, yeah, we're just going to run down now the slide. Okay, we're not going to run down the slide. We're just going to get down the slide carefully and probably jog the rest of the way out. So, wow. Currently at 51 miles.
56 miles, 26,000 feet of gain, 25 high peaks, 27 total hours on the trail, 2 sunrises, 1 hike. What an accomplishment. The goal was complete. Now to head down Macomb and get out of the woods to meet his father and get a victory breakfast. Well deserved at none other than the Noon Mark Diner.
But essentially, going down Macomb, we got down to the trail where it just starts, it's not the slide anymore, and we just started jogging out. Jogging out. And once we got to the Elk Lake Trail, I knew my dad was waiting for me, and I texted him going down Macomb. I was like, hey, Dad, I don't know if you're going to get this or not, but we're going to be there at 6 a.m. Turns out my dad, he was a little worried, but he ended up driving out of Elk Lake and going back to where there was cell service and got my text, and he felt a lot better. And so he was trooper. Thank you, Dad, so much for getting there at 10 p.m. the night before and sleeping and waiting for me. But once I passed some people about a mile before the finish, they're like, yeah, your dad's back there. Like, they made it seem like that he was worried sick. I'm like, what? Oh, no. And so I think Colton and I ran like 7-minute mile pace out at the end. And I got to the car, and this is the last and funny thing. We ran out, got to the trailhead, and I'm looking for my car. I run out, and the very first car, the first car in front of me is my car, right? But I run out, and I look at the car, and I don't think it's my car. It looked white. It was a completely different color. It did not look like my Subaru. For some reason, I looked at it, and I was looking out in the parking lot. I'm like, where's the car? And I'm standing actually beyond the car out into the parking lot, and my dad opens the car door, and I flip out. I'm like, whoa, what? And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I didn't know that was you. I don't even know. That was just weird. And we were just talking. And I'm just like, well, it's the morning. I feel pretty great. I know I'm probably not going to feel that way here in a little bit. And so we got in the car, went back, dropped off Colton to his car. I celebrated by having some